My name is Ofer, and in this episode we meet Ohad Twig from Booth.guru. Booth.guru is a bootstrapped SaaS company that operates in the events and the trade shows industry. They were founded 3.5 years ago and were just about to hit product market fit as the COVID pandemic broke out and their entire industry was completely shut down. Let's travel to Tel Aviv, Israel and get to know Ohad and the Booth.guru story. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I was a commander of a technology department in an elite intelligence unit. When I finished the army, I studied at the Technion in Haifa. I'm an industrial engineering and management degree, engineering. Then I did another degree, my master's degree in Ben-Gurion University, and quit to follow my dream. With my first startup, it was in the ad tech industry. After my first startup, actually, when we decided to close it, this was a very short and to the point experience. Me and my founders, decided to found Booth.guru together with one of the founders, both. So they had a very a major experience in their fields of marketing. So it was almost 3.5 years ago, almost 4 years ago, when we decided to take this challenge and disrupt the trade shows and events industry.
What exactly does Booth.guru do?
We understood that there is a major need for the companies which exhibit in trade shows. Almost 40% of the companies, of the marketing budget, are invested in trade shows. Despite this fact, there is no one holistic solution that helps these companies to manage, to monetize, and maximize their ROI on these trade shows. The major value is during the event itself.
During the event. Okay.
During the event, our algorithms knows exactly how to identify in real time every hot lead visitor who enter the booth and alert the booth staff immediately. The fact that you get an immediate and automatically alert is a disruptive product, since it really doesn't happen.
What's the average budget of your target customer, your ideal customer? What's the average budget that they have for the entire event?
It might be like $10,000. And you might find them even invest like $100,000.
And on average, what they pay you?
They pay me per event around $3,000 to $4,000 each event.
And what is it priced against? So is it the number of leads processed? Or is it just a fixed fee based on the event? How do you price it?
It took us almost 2 years to find the right pricing model, but we understood that a fixed price would be the best payment to our customers.
And I understand you're trying to figure out what the exhibitor's budget is for the event, and you try to target around 3 to 8% of that budget. That's your sweet spot, and it comes out to be around $3,000 to $5,000 per event per customer. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. There is a correlation of 1 to 3 between how much money you as a company invested in just for the booth, for the whole budget. I mean, if someone told me that the booth cost him $10,000, so I can understand that the whole cost will be around $30,000 because it's 1 to 3. This is the rule of thumb of in our ecosystem. So I can immediately understand how much the whole budget, and extract my price approximately.
How many people are in the company today?
We are 7 people in the company today.
7 people.
Mostly R&D.
Mostly R&D.
We have R&D, customer success, marketing, and product together because it's almost the same vertical in same fields. I'm doing the sales, and inside the R&D we have one of our founders, which is the CTO. Who is the CTO?
Let's go back to leads. So where do you get your leads from for Booth.guru?
When you're having a booth with Booth.guru, everyone saw the neighbors of the booth, of our booth, of our customers' booth. The neighbor just saw the situation that in our client's booth and just asked for what is the system, what are you guys actually doing, and then they just gave our name. We knew that immediately after one of our clients' events, we'll have immediately another 4, 5, 6 inbound leads that actually saw the product works. They don't have any questions.
From the overall, is that the primary channel of inbound leads?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is more than 50%.
More than 50%.
Yeah.
How many events do you, on average, on a monthly basis, do your customers go to?
Usually we're having around 5 to 6 events a month, which is almost between 1 to 2 events a week on a weekly basis. So we're having like on a weekly basis, we're having an event in Barcelona, and at the same time we're having an event in Atlanta, and 5 days afterwards we'll have an event in New Jersey, and later on this week we're having another event in Vegas.
So is it safe to say then to assume like 30 inbound leads through that channel on a monthly basis?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Those are very good leads, I understand. They're kind of qualified
The conversion
already.
rate is
Yeah, what's the conversion rate there?
I can tell you exactly, it's 66%. 2 out of 3 companies inbound from our inbound leads are closing a deal. But since it's not these kind of in a scale, so we cannot really rely on it.
Although it compounds because every customer you bring on board brings in new customers, etc.
Yeah, the stickiness here is a key player, is a major player.
Other than that channel for inbound leads, do you have any other inbound lead channel? Do you invest in SEO to get a lot of inbound leads through just regularly the site, or is it the only inbound lead or primary inbound lead source is that?
Yeah, if you want to be honest, our outbound is very weak. We had some very bad experience to try and have some other ways to have an inbound leads. It didn't work, honestly. We understood that it is a game of numbers in the end of the day for the funnels. So you need to have so many. And then we started thinking about shifting from direct sales in order to go to a large scales into indirect sales.
Yeah, that I get, and I want to get to that a little bit later. So I'm still with the direct sales that you guys are doing to the exhibitors. What process do those leads go through? Do you guys take them on a demo?
The sales process?
Yes.
Okay. It is very methodologic. We had a consultant that helped us how to make it exactly, how to sell, and we have been selling using Zoom for 4 years, almost for 3 or 4 years. The call has a very methodologic and step by step how we're gonna do this. The first step is schedule a Zoom call. It is 30 to 45 minutes. Then we are coming into the Zoom call. The Zoom call is divided into 3 or even 4 parts. First, I'm asking some data about you. Then, when he says, hey, usually he says, hey, I'm having so many visitors, but after the event, the response rate is so low. I'm sending everyone emails, but they barely reply. And there are a lot of assumptions why it actually happens. Mindset of the visitor, focus of the visitor. He is coming into, and he's only focused on the event, on your product. And this is the main problems that they actually they say. Afterwards, having a short demo, live demo, so they get a real-time alert for the visitor, and then they get to their cell phone an alert immediately while the demo is actually happening when we simulate a hot lead enters the booth.
Right.
So
So mind blown, then they take out their credit cards and pay, or does that come later in the life cycle of the sales process?
Then they say, hey, great, can you please send me a proposal for a pilot?
Are you doing most of the sales calls?
I'm doing only the whole of all of the sales calls.
Okay, so you do the sales, you send out a proposal, and then it's off from there. So usually you get to, let's say from those 30, about 20 a month will close, and you'll have a new customer out of that, right?
Yeah.
And on average, how many events does a customer have? 5, is that
when they use with Guru, it's around 5.
Let's take your 3,000 average deal for that. It means that, if I get my math correctly, it's every new customer that you onboard is a 15K ACV. That's the deal size that you're looking at. You're doing 20 of those a month.
Yeah.
So that's 150, that's $300,000 a month of new ACV. That's
annual? When you're talking about annual? Yeah.
Annual ACV.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
multiplying that by 12, okay, if you can do that by 12, you're essentially adding $3.5 or $3-something million of annual ACV every year at the company.
These are the rates that are right. I mean, the true numbers as for the very beginning of 2020. I mean, these rates. The number of inbound leads, the number of the closing rates are true for January 2020. I mean, it took us a lot of time to get to these numbers.
Since when are you getting around to these numbers?
Since
last year?
Last quarter, Q4 of 2019.
Okay.
So we had an amazing quarter in 2019 and started to have an amazing growth for Q1 2020. We saw revenues that we haven't seen in any quarter than before Q4 2019, and we understood that this will be the moment to leverage these amazing numbers that you are talking about. Exactly, trying to implementing our vision of having a real $1 billion company, and it happened. It started happening in Q4 last year, and then in January and February, which were amazing with revenues. And then since COVID-19 happened, our revenues currently are zero. I mean, the revenues became zero. Only 100% of the deals were canceled. So what we saw is the revenues like this, started Q4 2019. And more customers, US customers, UK customers, it was amazing. January, February like this, and then we saw like this, and like this, and now we're just starting again delivering values to virtual events, to hybrid events, to next year, to the summer of next year.
What did you do with your product to make it compelling to customers in COVID times?
Since January or February, there was a big shock. We didn't understand, or we didn't project what the impact would be. And the main question was, should we switch all of our product to the virtual event? What the virtual event market share will be? How much time will this whole COVID will last? And we had we built some very close relationships with one of with the largest event organizers in the world. Something with, I don't know, like the Microsoft of the event organizer. We were trying to understand from him, from his experience, what is his thoughts about how much time will it last, so we will be able to understand if we should allocate resources to the virtual events, since it's totally different. And I must say something very important. The COVID enforced us to work with the event organizer. So from starting and having ideas to shifting to pivoting, we were enforced to do this. Mm-hmm. And we understood that the COVID is here in a way to stay. Mm-hmm. To be totally honest, startup sounds, sounds very promising or with a lot of glory, but 90% of the startup, I believe, are not like this. And we need to fight very hard to make it happen. And I can say that in the last half a year, I faced challenges that I have never thought I would have. Virtually, investment-wise, HR-wise, revenues, new customers, retention, how you're gonna actually stay with the same retention and without losing your customers that already paid. Some of them ask to get the payment back, for refund. How you can actually use all of your, to convince them to stay with you. So this is the situation. This is not. I didn't think I'm gonna actually face it, but this is the situation. To be totally honest.
Boy, that was intense. I have to admit, I was getting a little bit worried for Ohad and the Booth.guru team. But as they say, you've got to improvise, adapt, and overcome. And that's exactly what Ohad and his team did, and that's what we're going to see in the next episode of Booth.guru.